would, yeah, we've covered a lot of really good stuff. Um, what would you all say has been your greatest lesson? Like just throughout your entire, I know that there's probably like a zillion, right? But throughout your entire track career, what's been your greatest lesson that if you had to tell the next generation, if you will, coming behind you, um, what to look out for, or just what was, what was a your big aha moment that you discovered about yourself?
Um, I would say that discipline probably you have to know that like you're not going to be able to do everything, and by that I mean have a social life, go out to parties, and do all these things that like most athletes are exposed to. If you want to be great, because you have to think of the academic side. If you want to keep your grades, or like for me, I'm studying biology, so I know that a lot of my professors, they tell you you're gonna have to cut some things out, whether it's sleep, and I'm like, I can't cut sleep. I'm an athlete, so sleep, nutrition, academics, and track comes first. So I really didn't have too much of a social life freshman and sophomore year, and probably not going to have one this year again. But the people who are there are the people who are going to stay in my life. So I don't really need that. So I learned that I really needed to discipline myself, spend more time with God, spend more time training, spend more time being in the weight room, talking to coaches, spend more time studying than doing other things that are not necessary.
I mean, I'd say for me, like when I first got on campus, it was like there's no one to kind of tell me what to do. So like I was like, okay, everything's on me now. Whether it was like eating or waking up earlier so I can do my Bible study, or um, getting places on time. I had to do it like it was. If I forgot to set an alarm, it was no one gonna come and wake me up and be like, "Oh, did you forget to wake up?" No, it was just me. Like the whole first week, my roommate wasn't even in my room, so it was just me. Like it was empty. So I had to like kind of figure out that I had to do stuff by myself and become mature. And it took, I would say it took a little while for me to actually adjust to doing all that stuff. But like once I did, everything became so much easier. Whether like my grades at the beginning of the semester, they weren't bad, but they got way better after I was able to practice doing all this stuff on my own. Like it just stuff became easier after I figured it out. That would be the biggest thing I tell anyone.
Gotcha.
Michael, diet. What is your diet like?
Yeah, it's it that I would say that's like one of my biggest problems. And it's less like I'd say I'm eating bad, but also I'm not eating good. Like I've gone to my nutritionist like I would say twice, and they kept just telling me I'm either one not eating at the right time, or two I'm not eating enough. So like trying to find a way to do that became hard because the way it really kind of doubles back to like how bad my class schedule was. It just makes it's going to become so much easier because I had to go to our food place called Varsity like every morning before class, and that would become pretty taxing because my first class was at 8 a.m. So I had to wake up like at 7 to try to like get myself ready so I can go get the food and come back and then clear out my bag so I can get my books and then go back to class. And that became like too hard to a point where I kind of stopped doing that. So I had like almost I didn't cut breakfast, but my breakfast would be like something just I throw it and I go and practice like 3 hours later with all that and only that in my stomach, and I would be tired. So I feel like that was my biggest thing. It's hard to like it was hard to eat enough and eat at the right time. That was the thing.
Well, Michaela, we know you're disciplined. So
I know,
other
right?
than the Nutella that you constantly
Right.
have.
I had to pick that up, honestly. And I think a lot of my schedule this semester was a blessing. I had time to go to the dining hall. Sorry, if you see a cat's tail, that's my cat. um, I had time to go to the dining hall in between classes, and we have a really good nutritionist. She like sets meal plans for us, telling us to get our proteins and our carbs. And my mother, she's a nutritionist as well. She always
Yes.
our vegetables, so that's something I carried with me. And I feel like, I don't know, as a distance runner, maybe my diet's a little bit easier because they don't tell me to eat more. They just tell me to eat like enough good stuff in my diet. So I don't really know what they're telling Kel, but you got this, Kel. Just keep on eating.
I know it. It's so funny. Like when you come back, in a few years, Michael, and to have looked back and listened to the things that you said your freshman year and how much differently you'll speak on it, like by the time you're a junior or even a senior. So you'll have it all, not necessarily all together at that point, but I'm sure the three of them can attest to this, that their freshman year, as we talk through these same types of things, like how differently it is to a certain degree, at least from an organizational standpoint. If nothing else, you kind of know what you need to do, even if you don't do it all the time the right way. You know what you're supposed to be doing, and you know what works best for you at this point.
Yeah, because that's kind of what I'm trying to find out. Because like my nutritionist always does mention the fact that like nutrition it changes from person to person, like exactly what the person needs. So they told me that I need to find out what works for me, and like it's been hard to figure that out. It's gonna take a while, but I'm gonna get it eventually.
Of course you will. Yep.